In this video, we're going to talk about how to create an array of objects from a class and use the counter variable in the for loop when initializing the objects to place the objects. So right now we have a car class that can display and it moves. We have a frog class that uses the keys to move our frog object. So the frog can cross the road and we have just one car. So obviously we need more than one car. So instead of creating one car from this car class, which takes in temporary variables in the constructor and assigns those class variables x and y to temp x, temp y, meaning every time we make a new car, we have to pass in a starting x and starting y location. So instead of making just one, we are going to make an array. We're going to use the square brackets to say not one car object, but an array of car objects. And now we're just going to initialize the whole array. So car Honda equals new car. And in square brackets up here, we're going to say how many objects. Then in setup, we're going to use a for loop to initialize each and every one of those objects. So there'll be car 0, car 1, car 2, car 3, so on and so forth up to car 99 for a total of 100 cars. So for int I equals 0, I is less than 100, I plus plus. To say Honda I, and I is just a placeholder for 0 through 99. So there's no such object as car I, or Honda I rather. There's only Honda 0, Honda 1, so on and so forth. It's just going to sub in each time through this loop the value of I for this variable I. Okay, and here's where I have to sub in, pass in the starting locations of the cars. If I passed in what I had before, which was 0 to 50, I'm going to make exactly 100 cars all at that same spot. Down here, I'm getting these red lines. I need to update this to put this in a for loop, which I'll do this in a second. But what I'm going to do now is I've basically initialized 100 cars on top of one another. So we're going to look at that. And I equals 0, I is less than 100, I plus plus. And this is necessary because there's no such object as Honda anymore. It's just Honda 0, Honda 1, Honda 2, Honda 3, Honda 4. So I need to, again, use the square brackets to make all of them. Ooh. What am I getting? Error on class. Oh, bracket issue? Bracket. Oh, if. That's why. It's not an if statement. It's a for loop. There we go. All right, so now I have 100 cars on top of one another. It looks a little jerky because there's so many of them. So I could use this variable I in this for loop to fix this. I could locate them all at I horizontally, but again, now they're on top of each other, so they are spaced out only 1 pixel apart, and if they're 50 pixels wide, they're still going to be overlapping. So I could use a multiplier, so I could say something like I times 100. And now I'm spacing them out. The problem is their locations are now 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, so they're all the way off the screen to the right. So the next thing I could do, for example, is I could say negative I times 100. So now they're spaced out to the left side of the screen, starting at 0, then negative 100, negative 200, negative 300, negative 400, and so on and so forth to negative 10,000. So this is one way you could use I to space them out.